Hello, friends! Thanks to inflation, a fourth round of stimulus payments of $1,400 could be going out very soon. Welcome to my channel. This is your fourth stimulus check update and daily news report. I do post several times a day to bring you up to date on the latest after months of negotiations. In total, the deal includes $550 billion in new federal investments in America's infrastructure over the next 5 years. However, the package would also add $256 billion to the deficit over the next 10 years. The bill must be approved by the House before it can head to President Biden's desk. But House progressives do not want to vote on the bipartisan infrastructure legislation before also voting to pass a separate $3.5 trillion spending bill that would remake a lot of the country's social safety net system and also likely raise taxes on the wealthy and large corporations. The infrastructure package is far short of the $2.5 trillion proposal that President Biden unveiled in March. That measure, known as American Jobs Plan, included money for roads, public transportation, and bridges. But it also drew criticism from many Republicans for making investments in areas not traditionally considered infrastructure, such as caregiving for aging Americans and workforce training. A lot of those provisions ended up in a separate spending bill. So here is what we know so far about the latest version of the infrastructure package. The deal calls for investing $110 billion for roads, bridges, and major infrastructure projects. And this is according to the summary. That's about the same amount agreed to in a bipartisan bill in June, but significantly less than $159 billion that Biden initially requested in the American Jobs Plan. Also, the deal contains $16 billion for major projects that would be too large or complex for traditional funding programs, and this is according to the White House.
Healthcare, jobs, security, and morality. If you do believe that this planet, as I do, that this planet is God's creation, then we have a moral responsibility to be good stewards of it. But even if you don't share that religious belief, everybody knows that I hope everybody accepts the fact that we have a moral responsibility to our children to pass on this planet in the most responsible way possible. And the president has laid out serious goals in terms of emissions and the rest, and we plan to honor that in the reconciliation bill as we go forward. So it's about the future. It's about building back better, not reinforcing the past, but taking us into the future for the children. On another note, as we see the wildfires in the West, we see them at home. The smoke, it's so devastating. As you see the floods of Ida, the storms of Ida in the South and in the Northeast, Mother Nature is not happy with us in terms of how we recognize what challenges face us. Climate crisis is real. Human behavior has an impact on it. We have public policy proposals that I hope would be bipartisan. However, the fossil fuel industry weighs in very heavily. Some of people on the other side of the aisle, you would think they would have taken the initiative on this, knowing what they do about energy. You would think they would realize that it's going to be a fiduciary responsibility for them to their shareholders, for them to grasp the future. Let's hope that that will become the case as more public awareness exist as to what our possibilities are. So I just wanted to, as you know, when I was speaker before, maybe you don't know, that was my flagship issue, climate. We passed the biggest energy bill in the history of our country, working with President George Bush. The other part of it was two-pronged. The climate part of it we passed in the House, couldn't pass in the Senate. But now we want to move forward with very significant legislation.
The package would also provide $39 billion to modernize public transit. That is less than the $49 billion contained in the earlier bipartisan deal, and the $85 billion that President Biden initially wanted to invest in modernizing transit systems and help expand them to meet rider demand. The White House and Congress have been looking at a multitude of measures that would pay for the proposal. But while lawmakers claim the bill pays for itself, the Congressional Budget Office score found it would instead add billions of dollars to the deficit over 10 years. The bottom line is that the legislation would directly add roughly $350 billion to the deficit, while taking into account $90 billion of spending and new contract authority. The Congressional Budget Office brushed aside several major provisions, such as repurposing certain unused crisis relief funds and using the savings generated by certain states, terminating crisis unemployment benefits early. The agency found these measures would provide roughly $22 billion in savings, rather than the roughly $263 billion claimed by many lawmakers. Also, the Congressional Budget Office said that the bill would raise about $50 billion by imposing new Superfund fees and changing the tax reporting requirements for cryptocurrencies, among other measures. The Senior Citizens League is petitioning Congress to issue a fourth round of stimulus checks. But remember, this is just for seniors. The Senior Citizens League is a group that advocates for senior citizen benefits, like increased Social Security and Medicare benefits. But most recently, they've called for an increase of 6% to the cost of living adjustment in monthly Social Security benefits, arguing that the rise in inflation made current fixed income benefits unsustainable. Everyone, the key word for this video is LAMP. If you would like to enter next Friday's $100 Walmart gift card giveaway, please make sure that you're subscribed to my channel, like this video, and also comment below the keyword. Thank you so much, everyone. This newest petition calling for additional stimulus payment reads, "And or my spouse want Social Security recipients to receive a $1,400 emergency stimulus check to cope during this unprecedented inflationary year. Social Security benefits are one of the few types of income in retirement adjusted for inflation, but soaring inflation has taken a toll on household finances of retired and disabled Social Security recipients." They added that in 2021, benefits increased by just 1.3%, which only raised the average benefit by about $20 a month. Roughly 86% of Social Security recipients surveyed said that their expenses increased by much more than that amount. The group plans to use responses from this petition to help urge Congress to give additional payments to all seniors who are on Social Security. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a very blessed Sunday night.